Good evening. I'll call the order committee of the whole for Tuesday, February 13th, 2024. Let the record show that all aldermen are present with the exception of Alderman Anastasia, who is excused. First on our agenda tonight, we've got PL 5-24 by Mayor Alio to authorize the submission of the New York State Home Rule request to establish a hotel occupancy tax. This is something the council and the mayor have discussed at least for the last couple of years, as I'm aware of. So the mayor not being here, tell us about this PL.
As you will recall, on May 16th, 2023, a resolution was passed to authorize an original submission of the home rule request to the New York State Assembly and Senate. However, their legislative session ended prior to those bills being handled, and Assemblyman Giglio's office let us know that we need to have a new resolution in order to resubmit the home rule request.
Okay. So this is just some logistics to get the ball back in their court at New York State and in Albany. And last time around, I guess some politics, played a part in trying to, get the request in at the during the last session. So hopefully, with a long session ahead, we can try to get this through New York State. That would be great as we talk many different ideas for using that revenue generated for marketing purposes for the city and so forth. Are there any comments or questions on this?
Yeah, I have one.
Yes, Alderman Robinson.
I noticed in Governor Hochul's executive budget, she's proposing putting a sales tax on vacation rentals. It says as well as $1.50 New York City hotel fee, any vacation rentals marketplace provider, e.g. VRBO and Airbnbs. So maybe this year this would go through.
Yeah, that's a good point. Anything else? Okay, again, I know we talked about the importance of tourism and certainly being able to have some money to market and promote Olean. I think this is a great addition, revenue source if we can get it passed. So I'll entertain a sponsor.
I'll sponsor.
Motion is made by Alderwoman McCall, seconded by Alderwoman Forney. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried and is referred to tonight's regular meeting. Next, we've got PL 6-24 by Mayor Alio to amend the City of Olean Code of Ordinances, Section 13-283, to amend the license fee for vendors to $12 per day. Mr. Clerk.
Yes, this is a vendor called the vendor fee, which has been held at $7.50 per day. I told my staff earlier in the week about how long that fee has been in place. It has at least been in place 6 years. Okay, and in the meantime, we have raised the per day parking and the permit parking, as well as the dog fees, and well, I guess that's it. The big ones.
Okay. Very good. Any Alderman Vance?
What is the vendor fee? What is that for?
This, okay, it's a one-day fee. It will go from $7.50 to $12 per day. There's a $25 upfront fee per year, per 12-month window.
Any additional questions? All right, seeing none, I'll entertain a sponsor.
I'll sponsor.
All right, sponsored by Alderwoman Forney. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Benyon. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. It is referred to the regular meeting of Tuesday, February 27th, to allow for publication. Next up, we've got PL 7-24 by Mayor Alio to authorize the mayor to sign and submit an application to the New York State Archives under the Local Government Records Management Improvements Fund Grant Program for funding to assist with record and files management for the city of Olean. Mr. Clerk.
Yes, this was the same grant I applied for last year, and it was not successful. It allows the application for a $75,000, up to $75,000 grant for various and sundry things with records management. If you've been into our basement, you'll know that we are in need of organization as well as new stacking furniture and so on. I've been in touch with a vendor in Buffalo who is a certified MWB, and I have several quotes. They're a little high, a little over 75,000, but once this gets approved, I can then start to negotiate those things. In essence, it's shelving as well as a mechanical shelf, the rolling thing, which saves a lot of space.
Okay, any comments or questions? This is our second or third year applying for this? Second?
It's the second time I've applied for it,
Okay.
but I'm not aware of any previous application.
I know we've gone for it at least once before, and if anybody's taken a tour of our records room downstairs, it's much needed. Alderman Robinson.
Oh, you're struggling over there.
Sorry.
So I just wanted to, this is only the second time that I
It's
remember.
the mask.
Yeah, it
Mask
must be,
is wrong.
I'm an imposter.
I was gonna say Wayne, Alderman Wayne,
I'll take that.
Bruce Wayne.
I was just thinking, so I have not been down there, media, or we're just looking at the.
Digitizing.
Yes, digitizing.
Yes, it is. There are 5 areas that can be applied for, okay? Digitizing is one of those areas. They don't allow, like, in 2 occasions, you can kind of combine the 2. And actually, they are, real quick, I have a plan too. The 5 areas that you can apply are document conversion and access, which is digitizing, inactive records, historical records, disaster management, and files management. Inactive and files management can be combined. The other 3 have to be applied for separately and only used for that purpose.
And then all the records that we have down there, these are records that we must maintain.
Yes, these are permanent. Even though they're called inactive, they have to be kept for 6 years.
Oh, okay.
And then there's the active ones, which can be either one.
Okay.
Anyone else? I'll entertain a sponsor.
I'll sponsor.
All right. Alderman Wayne. All right, Alderman Robinson, and I'll go ahead and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried and is referred to tonight's regular meeting. PL 13-24, Mayor Elio to approve the following Boost Business Grant Program, Real Estate Assistance Application for Financial Assistance as recommended by the Boost Business Grant Program Committee, BBGP 48-22, in the amount not to exceed $4,400. Gary, I was surprised to hear there's still some money.
Yeah, the reason being is we had someone pull out of the marketing assistance. They just advised they didn't want to utilize the remaining funding, so it was the $4,400. And right around that time, we had a business contact us that's in a real need for assistance with the real estate with a mortgage. The company is located on Buffalo Street, very small business, current with their taxes, their water, however, very delinquent on the mortgage. And so the Boost Business Committee met on February 7th and is recommending the approval.
Okay, very good. Any comments or questions? Alderwoman McCall?
I think I say this every time, how very important these grants have been to our businesses, whether it was for marketing or for real estate kind of costs associated with it. And, you know, I would encourage us that should we in the future have this opportunity again with some dollars, that we definitely reinvest. I was going to mention this later, but if you guys have looked downtown, I mean, we have one business that moved from West State to down to you to say how can we entice businesses to come in, small businesses, because I think that's kind of our niche, if you will, is to kind of see how we can encourage smaller businesses to come to the downtown that are invested in Olean. So I applaud, you know, Alderman Panis and President Crawford for putting that work in and how very important it has been to our downtown, so.
Thank you for that. Yeah, kudos, Jason. You know, you kind of spearheaded the real estate assistance side, so thank you, Alderman Panis, for your effort on this. So does this close out the programs, Carrie? The funding that we had?
Yeah, that all the funds are back to be committed.
Okay, great. And so that was also a stipulation under ARPA that the funds got used and they got used appropriately, and what a good use. So awesome. All right, I'll entertain a sponsor.
I'll sponsor.
All right, motion's made. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Second by Alderman Panis. All in favor? All right, opposed? I will abstain for my previous association with the Small Business Development Center. But that's still enough to pass on to refer to tonight's regular meeting. PL 14-24 by Mayor Elio to authorize the transfer of $4,400 from the Capital Fund 217 to Capital Fund 218 for the costs associated with the Who's Business Grant Program. So this is just moving what was. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All right, so motion is Panis, seconded by Alderman Robinson. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, opposed? Again, I'll abstain from that one too. PL 15-24 by Mayor Ilio to authorize the submission of the New York State Home Rule request to establish an exemption from the real property taxes of the Olean Community Theater Incorporated. Tiffany.
Yes, the council passed a resolution in November of 2023 to support Olean Community Theater's application for exemption for the 2022 general tax year and 21-22 school tax year. And we received notice from Senator Giglio's office that it will require a home rule request to both the Assembly and Senate, and so this is the next step in that process.
Okay. Nothing happens fast in government. We've been talking about this one for a while. All right, any comments or questions? All right, I'll entertain a sponsor. PL 16-24 by Mayor Elio to authorize the mayor to execute a lump sum consultant agreement with CNS companies for the design portion of the apron and automobile parking rehabilitation project at the Cattaraugus County Olean Airport. Tiffany.
Yes, this is a project that is to be funded with FAA funds as well as from New York DOT funds. As you recall, we've redone the runway and some of the other concrete at the airport. This is for the apron, kind of an area where the planes temporarily park, as well as for where automobiles park in the parking lot. There's approximately 90,000 square feet that will be redone, and the lump sum agreement is a cost of $150,000, again, fully funded, and the consultant CNS will also assist quite a long time, and they've been wonderful. So DPW definitely recommends working with them.
Okay. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, I'll entertain a sponsor.
I'll sponsor.
Motion is made by Alderman Benyon,
Second.
second by Alderman Panis. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. It is referred to tonight's regular meeting. I'll make a motion to adjourn our committee of the whole. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman McCall. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. I'll call to order the regular meeting of the Common Council for Tuesday, February 13th, 2024. Will the clerk please call the attendance roll?
Alderman Benyon,
Here.
Alderman Panis,
Here.
Alderwoman Forney,
Here.
Alderwoman McCall,
Here.
Alderman Robinson,
Here.
Alderman Anastasia, absent, and President Crawford.
Here, please rise for the invocation and the pledge of allegiance.
Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom. In your name, we pray.
Amen. Reading, correcting, and approval of the minutes of the previous regular meeting.
The regular meeting of the Olean Common Council was held on Tuesday, January 23rd, 2024, at 6:05 p.m. Present were Alderman Crawford, Panis, Forney, McCall, Robinson, and Anastasia. Alderman Benyon was absent.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the previous regular meeting. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Robinson, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Committee reports and unfinished council business.
None.
Communications from the mayor.
Special proclamation for Black History Month.
Okay, Mr. Clerk.
Whereas during Black History Month, we celebrate the many achievements and contributions made by African Americans to our economic, cultural, and spiritual and political development. Whereas Dr. Carter Woodson initiated Black History Week in February 12, 1926. The second week of February was chosen so as to coincide with the birthdays of Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln. Whereas in 1976, as part of the nation's bicentennial, Black History Week was expanded and became Black History Month, and is now celebrated throughout the nation. Whereas the city of Olean is blessed to have the African American Center for Cultural Development as a mainstay in our community, the center has sponsored events and worked with our African Americans in our region. Whereas the city of Olean is proud to honor the history and contributions of African Americans and will continue to work to be an inclusive community where citizens are respected and recognized for their contributions to our community. Therefore, I, William J. Alio, as Mayor of Olean, New York, and on behalf of the Common Council, do hereby proclaim February 2024 as Black History Month in the city of Olean. In testimony thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused to be affixed the seal of the city of Olean the 13th day of February 2024. Signed, William J. Alio.
Okay, so I'm not as experienced at this as Mayor Elio is, but I would like to ask Adela Moore of the African American Cultural Development Center to come forward and present her with this proclamation. So I want to thank Della and all her work and the center's work. That's right. Oh, congratulations. Take care. Okay, very good. Miscellaneous communications,
None.
city official reports.
Monthly report of the city auditor, month ended January 2024. Financial summary report as of January 31st, 2024.
Proposed legislation and referrals.
Adrian?
Yeah, this is a long one.
PL number 3-24 by Mayor Alio, referred to regular meeting Tuesday, February 27, 2024 for resolution by Council President. PL number 4-24 by Mayor Alio, referred to regular meeting Tuesday, February 13, 2024 for resolution by Council President. PL number 5-24 by Mayor Alio, referred to Committee of the Whole Tuesday, February 13, 2024 by Council President. PL number 6-24 to amend the City of Olean. PL number 6-24 by Mayor Alio, referred to Committee of the Whole Tuesday, February 13, 2024 by Council President. PL number 7-24 by Mayor Alio, referred to Committee of the Whole Tuesday, February 13, 2024 by Council President. PL number 8-24 by Mayor Alio, referred to regular meeting Tuesday, February 13, 2024 for resolution by Council President. PL number 9-24 by Mayor Alio, referred to regular meeting Tuesday, February 13, 2024 for resolution by Council President. PL number 10-24 by Mayor Alio, referred to regular meeting Tuesday, February 13, 2024 for resolution by Council President. PL number 11-24 by Alderwoman Forney, referred to regular meeting Tuesday, February 13, 2024 for resolution by Council President. PL number 12-24 by Mayor Alio, referred to regular meeting Tuesday, February 13, 2024 for resolution by Council President. PL number 13-24 by Mayor Alio, referred to Committee of the Whole Tuesday, February 13, 2024 by Council President. PL number 14-24 by Mayor Alio, referred to Committee of the Whole Tuesday, February 13, 2024 by Council President. PL number 15-24 by Mayor Alio, referred to Committee of the Whole Tuesday, February 13, 2024 by Council President. And PL 16-24 by Mayor Alio, referred to Committee of the Whole Tuesday, February 13, 2024 by Council President.
Okay, so before I open it up for public comment, I'd like to give an opportunity to any of the aldermen to make a comment at this time. All right, seeing none, will the clerk please read the public comment statement?
Public comment portion of the Common Council regular meeting is established to provide members of the community with the opportunity to publicly state their views, voice their concerns, or to provide input pertaining to any issue affecting city government. Additionally, the mayor, Common Council members, and city department heads encourage any person with questions to contact them at their offices.
All right, at this time, I will invite any members of the public to approach the podium. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have up to 5 minutes.
My name is John Dahlgren, and I was here last month regarding my property at 1324 North Union Street. And just so that can be seen, the Google Maps is the corner of North Union and East Pine before we went as a city to do the work to make the sidewalks equal opportunity access. Unfortunately, in doing that, they still have left a mess. They came in and took it out and then did not return for 4 months until November the 7th, at which point the backhoe, which I gave you all the pictures of, struck the foundation of my building. Permission to put a concrete pad on top, which by that time had already been placed on there without permission, but it needed to be done. Skylights are not effective in basements for the most part. I have that letter here that Bill Alio sent me after the work was done. I was told that the last day that asphalt could be got was indeed November the 7th, so this work is left undone. As you can see by this picture, the evenness of our property is extremely important because on the back side of this building, we have turned the first floor into 3 efficiency type apartments so they are accessible for wheelchair, handicap, and seniors. I'm not sure about your neighborhood, but North Olean needs all the first floor efficiencies that we can get to supply our citizens with homes. This building houses professionals told was not going to be covered. We have to have a retaining wall put back in, and we will have to put up some fencing so people don't fall out. What you see on this end of the building is the old entrance to what used to be called the corner place. When that lease is up, that first floor apartment will be split. Those are accesses that before they came and did without much to any warning and tore up that corner to put in the sidewalks. As you can see, we could have easily covered up and cemented them and been able to put the door back in for people. Unfortunately, that is a request to the Sidgwick Insurance Company, and I am speaking with Elizabeth Tuckler. If you're writing stuff down and you're interested, the case number is 4A2402C53WT. I'm here because Mark told me that you, John Crawford, would be able to expedite this process so I, as a citizen, don't have to wrestle with and experience the animosity of our current executive administration of the city. I am asking you to graciously help me set up an independent person, and we are requesting that John Long is no longer allowed to be on our property. This is a unique corner because you can bet I've been all around Olean and looking at what was done and what needed to be done. And doing this on November the 7th, I think, was the last run to get us in compliance, which is great. I highly encourage all access. We are a compassionate community, and this work has to be done because it's left undone. And right now, unless I can work indirectly through the city's insurance company, the mayor has shown an inordinate reluctance to even speaking with me about this and has refused responsibility. I have all of this documented by pictures, and John Crawford, I'm asking you to please not allow the John Long Company back on the property because of the damage that they did, and when you're considering who should be hired.
Please close out your statement. You're well over the 5 minutes. Just to let you know.
Anybody that wants to look at the letter that was sent to me by the mayor about a week and a half after the work was done, I'm gonna be living here for a...
Anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone else? Okay, at this time, I'll call public comment closed on the finance and bills.
None.
Resolutions.
Resolution number 524, PL number 4-24, to authorize the sale of 301 West Oak Street to Flux Property Concepts, FPC.
All right, so this was the only bid that we received on the RFP for this property, 301 West Oak. We reviewed them, we discussed them in committee. Are there any comments or questions? All right, so we do need sponsors on these. Could I, all right, got a motion here by Alderman Benyon and seconded by Alderwoman Forney. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Benyon?
Yes.
Alderman Panis?
Yes.
Alderwoman Forney?
Yes.
Alderwoman McCall?
Yes.
Alderman Robinson?
Yes.
And President Crawford?
Yes.
Resolution passes 6-0.
Okay.
Resolution number 6-24, PL number 5-24, out of committee by Alderwoman McCall, seconded by Alderwoman Forney, to authorize the submission of a New York State Home Rule request to establish a hotel occupancy tax. Panis?
Yes.
Alderwoman Forney?
Yes.
Alderwoman McCall?
Yes.
Alderman Robinson?
Yes.
And President Crawford.
Yes.
Resolution passes 6-0. Resolution 8-24, PL number 7-24, out of committee by Alderman Robinson, seconded by President Crawford, to authorize the mayor to sign and submit an application to the New York State Archives under the Local Government Records Management Improvement Fund grant program for funding to assist with record and files management for the city of Olean.
All right, we just talked about this. Any comments, questions? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Benyon?
Yes.
Alderman Panis?
Yes.
Alderwoman Forney?
Yes.
Alderwoman McCall?
Yes.
Alderman Robinson?
Yes.
And President Crawford.
Yes.
Resolution passes 6 ayes, no nays. Resolution 9-24, PL number 8-24, to authorize the transfer of $33,560 from sewer fund contingency and $7,756 from sewer fund balance to line item 810, 8120.412 for costs associated.
Alderman McCall?
So I am a little confused because Brad Camp had sent us an email on the 7th and indicated that the remaining funding balance gap was $5,938, and yet we're looking at $7,756.
That includes the $909 a month hard pipe rental for March and possibly April.
Any other comments or questions? All right, we do need sponsors.
I'll sponsor.
Okay.
I'll second.
All right, sponsored by Alderman McCall, seconded by Alderman Robinson. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Benyon,
Yes.
Alderman Panis,
Yes.
Alderwoman Forney,
Yes.
Alderwoman McCall,
Yes.
Alderman Robinson,
Yes.
and President Crawford.
Yes.
Resolution passes 6 ayes, no nays. Resolution 10-24, PL number 9-24, to authorize the mayor to sign and submit an application to the U.S. Department of Transportation through the Rebuilding American Infrastructure with Sustainability and Equity RAISE discretionary grant program for the Connecting.
So we received that presentation last week. This is, I believe, we said our fourth go at this application. So I'm going to, in a minute here, just ask Carrie to give us a rundown. The way that the current resolution is written is to include $25 million, which is the limit of the RAISE grant award. And that will be enough to cover, all right? So I want to also indicate that one of the failures or shortcomings in previous applications was the city's reluctance to add additional 10% contingency funding. So if you look at the resolution, probably in the second to the last paragraph there, be it further resolved that the Common Council hereby appropriate up to $2.5 million in additional contingency funding to ensure sufficient funding. Resolution is written, it includes the $25 million grant application plus the $2.5 million, which would effectively come from our general fund, all right? Or, I mean, we would decide at that time whether it comes out of general fund or whether it comes out of a bond, whatever the financing is. Now, that $25 million would be enough to provide new infrastructure from Union to 16th Street, okay? Carrie wanted to bring this forward to us to consider if we were to go the entire length to apply to Independence Drive, not 16th Street, that it would be an additional $2.8 million. So before we actually have to submit this grant application, we effectively have to decide whether or not we have interest in doing the $25 million and apply for it to be up to 16th Street, or add an additional a rundown. Do you have anything else to add? That was okay?
That was really good. The other addition would be $280,000 to bump up the cost overruns. And one thing I want to know is, in applying, if there are no overruns or unanticipated cost increases, then that money is not utilized. Whether the council chooses to do the short-term borrowing, it just goes back to pay down the debt.
So if anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask away.
You talked about extending to Independence with the infrastructure. We're confident it would only be another, what, 2.8 million to get there?
Yes, we had the engineering firm do the analysis. And then the one thing they had noted is if the city were to not go from 16th to Independence and chose to do it at a later date, then you would want to increase that cost by 30% because you'd have to rip up the street again. And some other costs associated with construction and mobilization.
What's the benefit of taking it all the way down to Independence? I don't remember from the presentation what that was the added benefit of taking it all the way through.
Yeah, from my understanding, I mean, the majority of that infrastructure is between 80.
So eventually that would have to be replaced anyways down the road at some point.
It needs to be now. And I believe it was last Friday or the one before, I think like 20th to 24th Streets were without water because of a water main break. It's of time.
So like yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so just so you guys have some numbers to look at and so you're aware of what the difference is, would be effectively about, what is it, about a little more than $2.8 million. So the current proposal, as the resolution is written, is for 27.5, of which 2.5 is city responsibility. That gets us new infrastructure to 16th. Or do we consider extending it all the way to Independence, which bumps up our contribution, effectively doubling it to 5.58 million. So I for one, I mean, we're talking about a once in about 100-year opportunity. If we're, that if we're gonna do something, we do it right. And I think that's something that, Alderman Panis has preached about war vets. And I think if given this opportunity, I think we've got to do West State Street the right way, which means we do all new infrastructure all the way down to Independence Drive. The cost of mobilization, we're effectively getting a cost reduction. They're there, they're mobilized, we might as well do the rest of the way. As I think Carrie just pointed out as I was over there writing, we've had how many breaks now along that stretch? We're constantly having new development and new businesses tap into those lines along that section between 16th and Independence. That seems to be where really all of our additional investment is coming from. So I really think that the council should seriously consider, at least if given the opportunity, doing it the right way. Alderman Robinson?
So
Alderman McCall?
I think one of the things that we hear over and over is that people and completing the piping underneath. But I think this is the number one complaint that I hear is that we're not updating roads and we're not working on the infrastructure. So I do think it would be a huge cost savings to the residents if we do it at the same time versus doing it separately. It was an inconvenience for many people just driving around that days that it was it seemed with that water break. But for the residents, I'm sure it was, and the businesses, I'm sure it was much more than just a minor inconvenience. So I would encourage us to really look to take advantage and hopefully we would get the grant. And if I'm understanding correctly, part of that also is that 2.78 may or may not be used depending on whether or not whether there's overage.
That's true.
So theoretically, I mean, we're shooting for the 3580, but it could be closer to 3 less if things came in at budget.
That's true. Is that right, Carrie? Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Alderman Robinson?
Without holding this up anymore, this entire thing pretty much covers all of Ward 6. You're talking about a ward that has a lot of companies, a lot of businesses. It is an area that is still growing. There's a lot of vacant area down there that can grow. this is pretty much how it was explained during the meeting last week and then during the public meeting. I had to double check my notes to make sure that the numbers were pretty much the same. 2.8 million, that's the potential 30 million that the city would have to come up with if we have to take care of this on our own. And then again, as Alderman McCall stated, you have a lot of people that always say, first thing they say is, what about our infrastructure? This is a perfect opportunity to capitalize on getting funding that would take care of our infrastructure as well as help beautify and recreate that entire strip from the post office on down. I don't see a reason to stop at 16th Street when you still have I'm just gonna say the better part of Ward 6 that brings in the revenue for this city, down there to keep putting Band-Aids on our infrastructure. So let's just move forward.
You know, I also want to piggyback on that thought too, is the return aspect of it, right? It is an investment, and the cost-benefit ratio that they kind of gave, I think is actually low to say that for the money spent, you get 2.5 times that benefit back, right? Whether it's in private investment. We've seen how much was ultimately invested in North Union Street, and now we see, albeit it doesn't go as fast as we would like, but we see finally Manny-Hanny completed. We see a developer that has taken ownership and stake in the Olean Center Mall. We put forward those sorts of investments along the busiest corridor, industrial business corridor in the county. Then I think we can see that sort of return easily come from the private sector along there as well. So I'm fully in favor of doing it and doing it the right way. Anyone else? All right, so with that being said, we do need to make a motion to favor. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. I will make a motion to alter the resolution. Carrie, how do you want us to, how should we alter this resolution? With these, bump it up to these numbers here, the 27.8 plus the 10% contingency?
Yep, plus the additional 280,000.
Right, okay. So, my motion is to replace where it says $25 million.
No, you just need to change the be it further rezoned where it says 2.5 million to up to 6.
Be it further resolved, the common council hereby appropriates up to
Whatever that number.
5.58.
Yeah.
5.58.
It's already got the 10% at the bottom.
Taken from the general fund balance done by sizing 10%, but that number there, 10% will be 278. All right, so over the preliminary budget estimate, and that should be 27.5 now, correct?
27.
No.
Where you wrote it up there, 2.78?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, yep, 27, I'm sorry. All right, so I just want to make sure we don't have to come back and fix this next week. All right, contingency funding,
John?
No, 2.7.
no, we want to make that 2 point,
Yeah, John,
2.7.
yes, could we do it that way and then just put another sentence in about committing the additional 2.8 million for construction related to the infrastructure, like the commitment that way?
Can we fit that in, Tiffany?
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna say we appropriate up to 2.78 million of additional contingency funding to ensure sufficient, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, and then the city commits an additional $2.8 million for new water and sanitary sewer lines. Construction. Yep, there, that's the one.
You're gonna have to duplicate 10% of that.
That's what,
The 2 point.
that's what the 2.78 is. All right, so we're good? All right. Any other comments or questions? All right, seeing none, I'll make a motion, could I get a second?
Second.
I suspended the rules, I made the motion, I'm sorry, we're still on this motion here to amend. All right, so I made the motion to amend, who made the second?
Call.
Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Any other comments or questions on resolution 10-24? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Benyon.
Oh, we need sponsors, I'm
Sponsor.
sorry. I'll sponsor, could I get a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Robinson. All right. Now will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Benyon.
Yes.
Alderman Panis.
Yes.
Alderwoman Forney.
Yes.
Alderwoman McCall.
Yes.
Alderman Robinson.
Yes.
President Crawford.
Yes.
Resolution passes, 6 ayes, no nays.
Okay.
Resolution number 11-24, PL number 10-24, to award the contract for security camera consultation, securing of equipment and materials, installation, storage capability, and maintenance to Nest Wireless Global in the amount of $881,220.15.
Okay, we were presented the results of this in committee last week. Are there any comments or questions? Alderwoman McCall.
So I know we just risk for vandalism and those that we have investment in. However, I go back to saying that, you know, when we look at this, the narrow gap between the first and the second was significant in terms of cost. It was over twice as much. And so we had talked about whether, you know, what the difference was in those two bids. The other one, I think, if memory serves me, it was around 300,000 or something in there, and this one's 881,000. So I would encourage us to, as we discussed last time, to reconsider and take it back to review and make sure we're getting what we want to, whether it's solar lights, solar cameras, etc.
Okay. It may also be beneficial to, I know in the past we've had presentations. You know, I know we had presentations when we were looking at redoing the city website and things like that, just to see what different vendors offer. Are there any other comments or questions on this? Yes?
So with the bids that were all received, based on the needs that we stressed that we wanted, and so there's I'm assuming the scorecard that you use to evaluate the bids is an unbiased type of scorecard. I'm not familiar with that. And so if practice is who has the higher scores, how bids are awarded, then are we changing the process of awarding bids then for the city? I don't, just so I'm clear of, and it'll go back to what we just said on our last thing, is we should do, you know, things right the first time, not going back and so I'm in favor of investing in all of our parks, because like I said, I think it increases, you know, it benefits our residents, it decreases the liability to the city for anything happening in these parks, not just the at-risk ones, but also all of them. So that's just my comment.
So I think, you know, I don't think, again, I know that's not necessarily our forte here is procurement, but I think, you know, where other RFPs that have gone out there that have included the highest responsible bidder phrase, I don't know if was that included? That was included, Carrie.
I included very good language about that.
Because I would have a follow-up question as regards to that, so if you could help maybe clarify to us, in the past, I thought the highest responsible bidder meant that we could take a look at the bids, and although someone who may have been scored at the top, you can take things into consideration and consider the second alternative, but that doesn't seem to be the case in this example.
So how I wrote the RFP, I wrote lowest responsive and responsible bidder. It means a bidder on the contract whose proposal responds to the bid specifications in all material respects and contains no irregularities or deviations from the specifications which would affect the amount of the bid or otherwise provide the bidder with a competitive advantage, and whose financial condition, experience, conduct, and performance on previous contracts, facilities, and management skills supports the bidder's ability to execute the contract properly. And then I also put the lowest responsive and responsible bidder is not necessarily the bidder that submits the lowest bid, but is the bidder that receives the highest score during the bid evaluation process. See scoring criteria. And then I
Okay, so-
break that out, how they were scored, from the criteria outlined.
Are there any other comments or questions? Alderman McCall?
So I just kind of go back to there is a 6-point difference, but it's over twice as much. Kind of like what, I think the presentation is a good idea to see what we have out there. I mean, I think that we all want to have this, but I think if we look at, the next bidder with the highest score being less than half of this one, the question is, really what is the significant difference there? And I agree, we want to do things right the first time, but we also want to be fiscally responsible to our residents.
Anything else? Anyone else? Would anyone like to, I'll entertain a motion or a sponsor?
We'll make a sponsor, or I'll sponsor.
Okay. Is there a second? Okay. Seeing no second, calling once, calling twice. Okay, motion is dead. Is that sufficient, Gary?
Authorizing the installation of a street light on National Grid pole number 10 on Irving Street.
We talked about this in committee. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, we need sponsors.
I'll sponsor.
All right, motion is made by Alderwoman Forney,
A second.
second by Alderwoman McCall. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Benyon,
Yes.
Alderman Panis,
Yes.
Alderwoman Forney,
Yes.
Alderwoman McCall,
Yes.
Alderman Robinson,
Yes.
and President Crawford.
Yes.
The resolution passes 6 ayes, no nays. Resolution number 14-24, PL number 13-24, to approve Boost Business Grant Real Estate Assistance Program applications for financial assistance.
All right, we talked about this in committee of the whole. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Benyon,
Yes.
Alderman Panis,
Yes.
Alderwoman Forney,
Yes.
Alderwoman McCall. Passes 5 ayes, 1 abstention. Resolution number 15-24, PL number 14-24. Resolution authorizing the transfer of funds from Capital Fund number 217 to Capital Fund number 218.
Okay, talked about this one too. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Benyon,
Yes.
Alderman Panis,
Yes.
Alderwoman Forney,
Yes.
Alderwoman McCall,
Yes.
Alderman Robinson,
Yes.
and President Crawford.
I abstain from that too.
Resolution passes 5 ayes, 1 abstention. Resolution number 16-24, PL number 15-24, to authorize the submission of a New York State Home Rule request to establish an exemption from real estate property taxes for Olean Community Theater Incorporated.
Okay, we just talked about this one. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Benyon,
Yes.
Alderman Panis,
Yes.
Alderwoman Forney,
Yes.
Alderwoman McCall,
Yes.
Alderman Robinson,
Yes.
and President Crawford.
Yes.
Resolution passes 6 ayes, no nays. Resolution number 17-24, PL number 16-24, to authorize the mayor to execute a lump sum consultant agreement with C&S companies for the design portion of the apron and automobile parking rehabilitation project at the Cattaraugus County Olean Airport.
All right, we talked about this one in committee of the whole. Any comments, questions? Seeing none, will the clerk please call roll.
Alderman Benyon,
Yes.
Alderman Panis,
Yes.
Alderwoman Forney,
Yes.
Alderwoman McCall,
Yes.
Alderman Robinson,
Yes.
and President Crawford.
Yes.
Resolution passes 6 ayes, no nays. Resolution 13-24, PL number 12-24, to authorize a one-year medical leave of absence for employee number 134945.
Okay, as this is a personnel matter that we need to, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. I will ask the public to please step out.